Hi,
Hi.
how you doing?
It was much more fun to see you in person.
Yeah, it was. It was way better.
That was
I am,
way better.
I am excited we get to hang out in person.
I know, for 9 times in a row.
Yeah, it'll be great.
I'm gonna pause the recording just for a sec.
Room background for all the
Moot court. It's over now, but I'm hanging on to the visual for just a little longer.
I love it. It looks really good. Very
Thank you. But
professional.
yes, our tournament completed last night, and we have our wildly successful winners, and I'm still floating.
That's awesome. Very cool. Janelle Bauer, I just had my chai from my Friday chai from Tender Love and Coffee.
Nice.
And I got some more new coffee while I was there. So yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, as always. Ashley's wildflower shirts are so cute. I'm sure you see this one.
Oh, that's so cool. I did
She
not know
comes to all my meetings.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah. I don't know, Lisa, if you've seen her new ones. They're really slick looking. Let's see, cancel. Let's see. That's the black one.
Oh, really pretty.
Isn't that cool? And then this is the tie. It looks like the tie-dye version looks like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it turned out really cool. She sold them in like 2 hours, so now she's doing pre-orders. So yeah.
Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with wild success. I mean, that
No.
seems pretty good.
Side hustle, yeah. And Janelle, I owe you an email back. I think you ought to apply. I was not the FYE director. Kendall Leon was my colleague in composition, and Kendall is either taking a leave or resigning. So, so that's why we're doing. So I'm the chair.
Didn't you do a summer? What do you do over the summer? Isn't there one you do?
I do
That's
EOP. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do, and I work closely with FYE, but I wasn't director. Yeah.
ELP is a smaller group of, right, more targeted.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. First year experience, all of the freshmen. But we should talk because that'd be great.
Okay.
Look at all the cool kids. Oh my God, the Bad Brain shirt. Yeah. Yeah. Like legit. I can run up and get mine. Mine's upstairs.
What is that, Garrett?
Are you eating a Otter Pop?
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
We're all mature.
I mean, what else do I got after 14 months of online teaching?
Right.
I know. And then 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock Zoom on the last day of class. Yay. I know when I was writing that email, I was like, how do I say that these are the options? Like, oh no.
Oh my God, Matt Thomas might actually not resign over my geek cred faux pas.
Okay. It'll be fine.
I want you to know, Matt, that I went in and did a find and replace for everywhere it says yellow and it now says gold so that we can do gold leader, red leader.
Excellent. Excellent.
Do our Star Wars geek references and the whole thing. Thanks everybody for starting to show up. It's nice to see you all.
Uh-oh. Someone just joined the wrong meeting. Hang on.
Happens. Yay. I'll put the slides we're going to work off of. We do not think this will take the whole hour, which will probably make you happy. We need to, a lot of you have marshaled before. Things are pretty different. So we'll, pretty different, but also in some ways easier. So we'll kind of do the quick phases and then we'll just open it up for questions. So I would be shocked if it was the whole time, but let me share the link and I can share it again as people join. So, and we can share our screens, blah, blah. There's the slide deck with some notes in it too. We took, Lisa and I were on the field this morning. We took some pictures. I think the first thing that's gonna surprise you if you have been to the field many times before for commencement is how far apart those chairs look from each other. It's just this sea of spaced chairs out there. So I'm gonna give another minute. Yeah. You all surviving? Taught my last synchronous Zoom class ever yesterday.
Ever.
Never, ever,
Okay.
ever again.
That
Teach
just came
online.
from our two ladies that did honors research throughout the pandemic, like coming in and masking up. So lab coat, safety goggles, mask, all that stuff. And they did so super awesome. And then you can't hug them because they're on a screen. But oh well, they did so great. We were so proud of them. We are so proud of them.
Awesome. Okay, we'll start so we can honor your time. And like I said, I don't think it'll take the whole time. Thank you, first of all, so much. I know everyone is so exhausted, and we appreciate that you're pushing through and doing this. Slides are in the chat, but I think we could also share screen here for a minute to kind of, like I said, walk through a little bit of the phases. There's some notes in these slides too. And then of course, all those notes are in your Marshall rolls as well. I don't want to be in full screen, but I'll do it for now. So I'm going to talk about the first two phases. Lisa's going to talk about the last two phases. There are 4 phases of commencement that many of you know this because you've done it before, but for new people, this is how we structure thinking through how we, in baseball, you'd say, get them on, get them over, get them in. So we're talking about how to get them staged, how to get them in the stadium, how to get them graduated, and how to get them out of the stadium. And like I said, lots of things are changing this year. So I am going to speak to the people who are also new, and you can ask lots of questions in the chat or at the end. We stage everybody behind the university stadium. So you'll come in by YOLO Hall. You'll need to be in regalia and have your ID probably, but regalia is probably good enough. Bring your own water bottle. We won't have any water bottles this year. We're going to do all like no touch. So I'd bring a water bottle. There will be some water and restrooms in YOLO. And then you'll come here behind the staging area an hour before the ceremony. So if it's at 8:30, please come at 7:30. The graduates will start arriving 45 minutes before the ceremony, but the same student who turned in their work 2 weeks early will also be the student who shows up early. So it's great if you can get there an hour before. This is a picture I took this morning. This looks very, very different if you've ever worked commencement before. So there'll be no checking in at the tables. You won't have to ask them which college they're in or which department. They're just lining up in 2 lines, gold and red, as they show up. And we're just gonna be there, y'all, kind of trying to keep those lines a little bit even. They really snake around here, like they come way over here. For Sunday ceremony, there's about 430 students. That's the biggest one, the 2020 grads. And from there on out, it drops down quite significantly. The grad one's only 200. So some of the lines won't be as long, but you're going to try to keep them even as best we can. And the other thing I'll say about that is while we're here, you're going to show up, you'll check in with Lisa or I and be like, hi, I'm here, masked, regalia, ready to go, water bottle. And you'll be asking grads, don't lose your ticket. Do you have your stole? Keep space from each other. Keep your masks on until you get seated. You'll be kind of telling them those things. If they freak out when they get there and their friends, let's say their friends are like right here and they show up and they're like, oh, I want to stand with you. Just ask them to go to the back of the line. Just have them get out of line and go to the back and they can still keep standing with their friends and we'll move them up instead of trying to squish 5 people right here and get everybody to back up. So I think that probably makes sense. And then I'm going to let Lisa take it from here. I could drive the slide deck if you want, Lisa.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that would be fun because you shared it from there.
Oh,
Okay,
I'll
so-
say one more. Should I say one more thing about yeah, I am going to say the professional.
You were
sorry,
supposed to. That's okay. It's fine. We're good.
So then we're going to head into the stadium, and what we'll watch for is one side is the gold side and one side is the red side. West side, train tracks, gold. East side, Student Health Center is red. And you're going to, as you're seating them, you're going to watch for these because we're going to go every other. So we're going to have a gold line coming in from the west and a red line coming in from the east, 17 per row. So you're going to count 1, 2, I'll get them in 17. And you're going to have to remember to go every other. If you're loading from the red side, skip a row, red side, but there'll be these. And there'll also be some cards that are red or yellow taped to the back of these chairs. So I hope that will help with the seating. Okay.
Yeah, and just forewarning, if you've done this before, the rows are maybe 3 times as far apart as they were in previous years.
Yeah.
So, giving enough space because we're loading every other row and the rows are so much farther apart. When you get to 17, the person who's won needs to be like 6 or 8 feet back, right? So as you're getting to 14, 15, that kind of stuff, sort of make a motion that the people should slow down because you want to slow down the line because you're going to need to skip to every other row. So that'll be good. For many of the ceremonies, Kim and I are also going to be the no marshals to remind you not to load that every other row because it will be tempting to load every row because there's so much space in between them. So we will do our best to come up and be the no marshals there. So there's a question in the chat from Tom. How many chairs are set up? At the current moment, there's about 500 chairs set up. Our largest ceremony is the first ceremony, which is the 2020 grads. There's about 460 2020 grads that are coming. There's somewhere on the order of 420 master's ceremony graduates. And then as the week goes on, it kind of necks down and our smaller ceremonies are somewhere in the order of 200 graduates. So as the ceremonies get smaller, then the FMS folks will take away chairs from the back of the stadium to keep everybody as close to the podium as we can get to. Okay, there will be a little bit of trickery if you are the red line counters. There are a few rows where there's 1 fewer chair because they had to set up a platform to take pictures. When you get to that row, it's obvious. There's a big platform instead of a chair. Count 16 people. It'll be fine. So that seems good. Any more questions on lining them up or getting them in? If you've marshaled in the past, some of the jobs that we've had in the past are get down off the chairs job, which we're not going to have this time because everybody got on the chairs to wave to their parents and there will be no parents. And if they get up on the chair, they are probably going to fall right over because it's a folding chair on grass. So we'll see what happens there. Peter, I see your hands up. Go ahead.
So I'm a newbie with this, but am I right in picturing that the chairs are like a big rectangle, say, and the gold line is coming in along one edge of it and the red from the other edge?
Yeah.
And so then they're like meeting together as they,
Yep.
I mean, not together, but I mean, alternating like, okay.
Yes.
So the gold line will go across row 1, the red line will go across red 2, the gold line will go across red 3, red line across red 4, on line 4.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good. Provided there is no distinction between red and gold. When the students come, they can be in the red line, they can be in the gold line. It doesn't matter. It's up to them. What's their favorite color? If you are assigned the role of sweeper, getting into the ceremony as the 2 lines move up, it would be awesome if they were about equal. We are not going to count or anything like that. But if the end of the line is approaching and it looks like there are far more people in the red line, we're just going to try to shift a couple people over to the gold line so that our rows end up to be approximately the same. So it looks pretty good. Yep. Good. Excellent questions. More questions, either verbally or chat is fine. We can stop anytime. Okay, this is an action shot of Stephen Cummings. If you haven't met him before, he's the director of UPE and Commencement. This was during our training this morning. So in past years, we have released students on both the west and the east side of the stadium to approach the stage. But this year, because we have we're not doing that anymore. We have so many fewer graduates per ceremony, and they're so much farther spaced apart. Everyone is being released from from the west side of the stadium. So as your role is to release the rows, we're going to have the students in one row stand up and move off towards the train tracks. And I don't know, we have 9 ceremonies, so probably 5 of them will have feature a train in the middle of them, because that tends to happen. And that's how you'll know which way to take the graduates. So one by one, they will rise and be released out towards the west side, towards the train tracks. They will pass by the photographer on the way up to the stage. And then once they get to the stage, it's important that they have with them their ticket. So some students will have a printed ticket. Some students will have a ticket on their phone. But unless they have a ticket, their name cannot be read. So as we're releasing rows and bringing students up to the stadium, we need to make sure, do you have your ticket? Do you have your ticket? Do you have your ticket? Right? So some good questions to ask if you're milling around in that time. Do you have your ticket? Is your, come on now, Kim, you've done this before.
I don't know what happened. I was I'm thinking that maybe it was set to a timer. There you go.
Yeah. Robert, I will get to your question in just one moment. So as they're moving up,
Not
to
my fault. I'm touching my
Stop,
mouse.
Kim.
Sorry. Okay, I got it. I got this.
I thought we were teaching synchronously on Zoom all semester here. Come on.
I use slides.
So, good questions to ask. Do you have your ticket? Is your gown zipped back up? Do you have your stole? Right? So those are the things that they're going to need. If they want to leave something at their seats, they should be returning to the same seats. So that should be fine. They will pass by the photographer and go to the bottom of the ramp that you can see at this picture, kind of near where that red tent is. Okay, so if you have a bottom of the ramp roll in phase 3, your job is to make sure they have their ticket, right? Because as soon as it gets scanned, then it goes to a computer that you can't see because Stephen is blocking it perfectly, wherein it will be numerically matched with a pre-recorded professional person saying the student's name. Okay, so as soon as it scans in, that's what gets queued up on the computer. So it is essential that if they want their actual name to be read, that once it's scanned in, they have to stay in order, right? If they somehow swap order on the ramp, then they'll have the name of the person in front of you. Not pictured, that will be present during your ceremony on the ramp is the little Wildcat social distancing dots that we've all seen around on campus that just have the little Wildcat footprint on them that tell the students where to stand on the ramp on the way up. Okay, if your job is top of the ramp, Marshall, you'd be standing approximately where Stephen is shown in this picture, and your job is to point to the student where to stand to get their picture taken. So they will cross, there are like little footprints on the stage for them to stand at. They point themselves at the camera, they hold their little scroll, smile, their name is called, while the platform party claps behind them for an excellent photo opportunity. Okay, then there's a little sign that the camera person has that says, go away or leave now, cross the stage. That's it.
Nice. Like, please.
Your turn is done. Go, right, exit stage east, right? So then there'll be, if your job is top of ramp on the east side, your job will be to encourage the student to come to you after their name is called so that we can move on to the next student. If your job is bottom of ramp, then you point them back to their row if they want to. And so some ceremonies, we have a marshal staged at the water table where there are pre-filled reusable water bottles that the students can grab. They don't have to grab one if they don't want to. And if you're the bottom of the stage person, you can direct them towards the water bottle, the water table, or if they don't want water, they can go back to their chairs directly. Okay.
And the only thing I would add that might be different from other years, y'all, is we truly this time are not, they're not supposed to leave. We really can't have them leaving in groups. We're supposed to stay socially distanced. So as you know, in the past, sometimes a couple would start to leave out the back. There's no leaving out the back. They're all going to leave, as Lisa's going to say in a minute, out the front. So I think the other thing we're going to have to be doing during the ceremony itself is kind of talking to them and reminding them that they need to stay through the ceremony, even if they've already graduated. It's only going to be probably about an hour, even at its longest one. Please just hang on, The other thing I'm nervous about is how quiet it's going to be in that stadium. Like, we're used to it being really loud as people clap that are thousands of guests. And so we might encourage them to like clap for, maybe a row is responsible for being the ones who clap for the row ahead of them, or we're kind of like encouraging them too. But I think there'll be a little bit of having to kind of keep people focused and entertained for this 45 minutes or whatever or an hour while they're watching people graduate. Yep.
Yes, and I think that they will actually be prohibited. I can't remember the meeting, Kim, but I think that because there are 2 perimeters for the graduation ceremony. There's an outer perimeter bubble and then the inner perimeter of the stadium itself. So I think that the inner perimeter actually gets locked in the back once they get in there. So they really can't leave to the back. And then UPE is also stationed at the back to discourage the leaving. In previous years, we have had to recruit Velociraptors to try to keep them in, except for the year that it rained, where we just let everybody go home. It was really wet. There are bathrooms in the back, Janelle.
And on the side too, Janelle, kind of on the west side, they were staging some today too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and we can go back. I didn't quite clarify the positions of counter and sweeper. So let's finish up with phase 4, and then we can go back. And I
think I can even stop sharing for a sec here, right?
Yeah. I don't think anybody needs to see dinosaurs,
Yeah.
really. That's good. So then after this is all done and all the graduates are back in their seats, then the president will tell them to move their tassel from right to left or left to right, whatever it is that I don't remember right now. And they will play the Hooray Alumni Chico State song that would normally be when everybody tosses their mortarboards, which they're going to be instructed not to do. I don't know how we're going to prevent them from doing that, because I feel like once it's thrown, there it is. So it's not like we're going to go stuff them back on their heads. But they have received some instructions to not throw their mortarboards. We'll have to see what happens on that one. Okay, so the harder part that Kim mentioned in the Marshal rules document that she sent everybody earlier this week is that we need to release them by row instead of just saying, all right, congratulations, and running away, which is our usual mode of operation. Okay, so if your role in phase 4 is to release rows, then we're going to release the students on the same color that they came in on. So if they came in on the red line, they should be leaving on the red line. Right, so the folks on the goal line will rise. Row 1 rises and leaves off on the west side. Row 2 rises, leaves off on the east side. Row 3 rises, leaves off on the west side, one by one, until we have an empty stadium. Okay, so the gold line is going to leave on the west side, right out gate 1, right into the parking lot, and that will be it. Congratulations to them, right? And then the red line will rise and leave on the left side. Congratulations to them as well. Presumably celebratory music will be playing at this point. But the only clearing and cheering and clapping will be coming from us. So I would encourage us all to go ahead and do that. Al, I'm going to get to your question in just a moment because I have yet to address Robert's question, and then I'll get back to yours. So Robert asks about being a counter and being a sweeper. Okay, so lots of people are assigned the role of sweeper because it's actually pretty important. They drop a lot of things, and this year they can't get their name read if they don't have the little QR code or the little barcode that they should have to get in there. So the sweeper is basically making sure that everybody, hopefully we don't have any lost souls. Thank you, Bill Garrett. Hopefully getting everybody into a line, making sure that they have all the things. Everybody gets into the stadium in an orderly fashion, making sure that the 2 sets of line are approximately equal in length is the sweeper's job. And undoubtedly the sweeper's job will also be the person who arrives at 8:37, who comes running into the ceremony to try to graduate, ushering that person into one of the lines and making sure that they have a seat. Okay.
And the counter, Robert, is really what it sounds like. You're counting to 17, counting 17 students to get into the seats. Next thing, 17 students to get into the seats, 17 students to get into the seats. So if Justice
Yeah.
is the master. So if you get to be in a ceremony with Zach, he's just the master at counting them into seats. I don't know
70.
why he has that.
So if a student loses their card, first option, which almost all students and all of us now, especially after this year, are surgically connected to their phones. They should be able to, they'll get an email next week that has their ticket on it. So they should be able to access that email and find their receipt. So re-download from your email. If they take a screenshot of that, that should work. If they lose their piece of paper and magically appear without a phone, then please come and find Kim and I, and we will fix that for you. There are the company that's doing the barcodes and the scanning, things like that. They have a process, and they have empty cards that still have a barcode on them, so they can get scanned, so that that registers that it's a student, and then we'll have a faculty marshal read the name at the top. Okay, which is good. Which brings us to Al's question. So go ahead, Al.
Thanks, Lisa. So I'm going back to when they're graduating, when they go up on the stage. So are there 4 marshals? There's like the top and bottom west and top and bottom of the ramp east?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So get them up, get them across, get them down.
Down.
Gotcha. All right. So
So-
what were the roles of the top of the ramp east then?
Just come toward me. Come toward me. You're, quietly be like, come this way. You're leaving now.
Okay.
Down the ramp. Go down the ramp.
And
Yeah,
then-
and there's not a lot of come to the light. Yes, this is correct.
Mhm.
There's
and then
not
the
a lot
bottom
of
the ramp is
options.
just go to your seat. Direct them
Off
to
the
your
ramp
seat.
is go to your seat.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's not a lot of options once they get on the stage. The only thing that they could potentially be confused about is that immediately adjacent to the ramp, there's also a set of stairs. So I think it's unlikely, but they might pivot and try to go down the stairs next to where they came up. And we just need to keep them moving across the stage, west to east, west to east.
Yeah.
Good. Peter.
Sorry, I was trying to use my space bar and it wasn't working. What's the difference if there are 3 counters? What's the role of the 3 counters? Are
Yeah.
we? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, Peter, it's just basically spacing ourselves down so if someone's working on one row and then we've got that space, counter 2's working on the next row. And then, so you're kind of running back, each
Okay.
time.
That's what I figured. Okay.
Yep.
If you're counter 3, you can wait at the 6th row because that's where you're going to be feeding people in.
Right. When we're on our game, Peter, like that's why, when Zach and some were doing it, like when you're on your game, we count down the line. Like we've already batched 17 of them, and you kind of know, like someone kind of stands there and is like, this is 17. And then you keep batching another 17. So if you can keep that pattern, and I know for people who've never done it, it's like, this seems confusing. And it's so not once you're in it. It's funny how it's like, oh, this makes sense once you're in there. So don't stress about that. If you're like, I'm not going to know my role or whatever, that's why Lisa and I are wandering around also being like, it's okay, so don't stress that you'll mess up, there's no parents watching. Well,
Right.
live streaming, they won't see us in the field.
Just occasional little shots, and they'll only show the graduates instead, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Good. Zach, go.
2 questions. One is, should we print out the instructions and stuff in advance, or are you all going to have copies for the marshals at commencement? First question.
We will have copies, Zach. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And then the second question is, do we know in advance because I'm sure we'll have people that have mobility issues, maybe in a wheelchair, maybe injury, something like that, which seems especially complicated this year with social distancing. Do we know about that in advance? Are we just figuring that out on the fly? Talk to me about that.
We have a list, Zach, of those students already that Lisa and I have been sent, and have plans for. We just had a conversation about one student this morning and how she's going to come in differently. And so thanks for asking that. Yeah.
Although last year or 2 years ago, whenever we had graduation, we did have a last minute person who was on a scooter because she fell off her bar stool. That was cool. So in that case, we will not have advance notice, but but we still got her across the stage in the rain, just so y'all know. That's good.
Yeah, but her brakes went out on the way down and I had to catch her in her
You did,
scooter as
which
they were
was
sliding down the ramp.
fabulous. Extra marshaling points to you.
Right. Oh, man.
Good, go Matt.
So with the exception of the two really large ceremonies that we know we'll have, when we're counting and we get to number 17 and 17 and 18 say, well, we have to sit together. Are we sending them to the next row? What are we?
Yeah, you can, there'll always be enough chairs that we can skip a few chairs in there, right? If buddies are going to be split, don't split them.
Yeah. I would, for, especially if you haven't done this, Lisa and I always argue to err on the side of joy and kindness. This is not the place to, this should be happy for them. And that also means sitting sort of near friends. They won't be as close as all. So Matt knows we're usually like, yeah, just take your pairs. Some of that we can solve as they're lining up, like run back and get with your friends and go to the back of the line so you can all be in a group. But we are going to try to enforce the masks except when they're seating. Yeah, that's a great question, Janelle. Please put your mask on. Please put your mask on. Yeah. And when you're seating, you can take your mask off. And when you're going across the stage, you can take your mask off, obviously, for your pictures. So it's really just when they're entering and coming up and down ramps and leaving.
I don't know. Okay, Jaime, what's your question?
Yeah, in the past, I remember, the students come up in sections, per department, and then they announce the department, the next department. It seems right now, both colleges mix, everything's all, is there some kind of announcement of degrees, or they just said that's kind of my question.
There's a lower third on the Jumbotron with their pictures, and the lower third will show which department they're graduating from. So that'll be displayed out and be able to be seen from the live stream. So that they won't say it or they won't announce this is this college, but they will have it as a title on the.
Oh, so that's tied to the student's ID.
You
so
got
the
it.
audience would know, and
the live
not
stream
being read.
Yeah.
Okay, but we don't know. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to take photos during the thing? And my son's going to be in it, so I'm going to want to document some things.
Totally.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming we are wearing masks the entire time.
Yep.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But it'll be a brand new mask, so it'll smell a little funny too. So that's nice.
Oh, so you're supplying like graduation masks for the marshals? Is that it?
We'll have a bunch of masks in our Marshall box. You can bring your own, or we'll have some ones that are Chico State something.
Is there a preferred color or something if we're going to bring our own?
We don't even know what color are the ones they're giving us. So.
If you're lucky enough to have a really nice department chair like Dr. Peter Kittle, the Department of English sent you an English department mask that you
Yeah, we got some SOE ones.
Look at that right there. There you go. We got our mask. Yeah, I'm hoping, Zach, we hope we're done in an hour or less.
I think you'll have to bring your own glitter though. I'm not guessing they're going to be bedazzled masks. Although that would be fun. We could try that.
Yeah.
Maybe by ceremony 8 or 9, Kim and I can bring a bedazzler with us.
Can you somebody say where the platform party is? Are they going to be in the back and they sort of walk to the front?
That's a good point. Usually we process the platform party in with a scepter and a fanfare and all this kind of stuff, but they're just going to be preset on the platform. So they will be up there the whole time, sitting in the shade.
And faculty who are coming to just be audience, are getting checked into a different gate and just will go directly to those seats that are also, I think, on the west side when I was seeing them set up today. And so there won't be a processional of faculty or the platform party. It'll just be the students. So
one of the other reasons it's quicker.
Yeah.
Good. So, and there are to be 4 speeches per ceremony. I don't know what
And,
they are. I think there's a faculty speaker, a student reflection speaker, the president speaks, and then usually there's a outside speaker as well. So hopefully that won't be too onerous.
a cannon at the end that sends
Confetti cannon.
confetti.
Mhm, good. I think that's as close as we have to glitter.
Glitter, yeah.
But they're very excited about the confetti cannon because for 2019 ceremonies it was brand new, and then it rained, so we only got to use it one time. So
Is that it, you all? Because we could also stay for any like individual questions. We will resend the links to the spreadsheets with the roles and the Marshall instructions and this video and the slide deck. So you'll get 4 links the day before your ceremony and then the morning of your ceremony. So you'll get, I'm sorry, but you'll get blasted because we all have so much email. I need it to move to the top of your email thing. So, and yes, Janelle, it's live streamed at the moment and then recorded to watch for a year later, up to a year later.
good. And there will also be the CMT folks are going to be doing drone footage and drone still shots too. So there might be a little, if you hear a drone, don't be alarmed.
If there's 6 drones, then you should be alarmed.
Yeah. Or a flock of geese. That would, you know.
We again, just thank you all so much. I know how tired faculty are, and this is really cool. As you probably know better than any of, I was telling the staff today, the UPE staff, at least my seniors are really excited. They're really excited about walking. So
yeah, I was a little concerned about how it was going to feel in the stadium with it far apart and no parents and things like that. But when I got in the stadium this morning, it felt like, you know, it was like that normal, you know, sort of charge of energy that you get with it. So it should be lots of fun. But Sue, you have a question.
Thank you. We're being strict about caps and gowns. I've been hearing from lots of grad students that ordered them in March and they haven't shown up and everyone's panicking, and just checking on that.
Yeah, see, they're promising the day or 2 before. That's been the party line, and the bookstore has a bunch. So if it really comes down to it and they didn't show up the day or 2 before, they can get them at the Wildcat store, and they don't seem as worried as the rest of us are. So I'm going to try to go with that.
Projecting calm is good.
But
so,
it is a problem. Like students who are coming from San Luis Obispo or something, our distance ed, who might be coming up to graduate and they're leaving the day or 2 before. They're definitely nervous about this whole day or 2 before thing. So I'm hoping. A lot of Amazon orders have gone out this week, I have no doubt. Yeah. Okay. We'll pause in case anybody needs anything, and thank you again so much. Happy Friday.
Thank you, Kim and Lisa, for taking the lead. That's awesome.
Oh, we like it.
Yeah. Happy service.
And again, yeah, if you have any questions about your role specifically, we're happy to answer.
Hi, thanks, Laura. Say yeah.
Yay, amazing leadership people.
Done with your otter pop.
You were talking about it being amazing at counting.
The count. We need to get the count for graduation.
17. Oh.
I see our children are about the same age.
I might have faded a little bit at the end there. I had to order regalia to rent. Do you know when and where I'll be able to get it?
It should be, I don't know how it's coming for faculty. Do you know, Lisa? Is it coming to the bookstore?
I think you should just email. Remember the guy, Steve Novo, that helped you?
Yeah, I did email him. I just haven't heard back
Yeah,
from
just
him
send
yet.
her another email.
They are saying at least the day before they are counting on it being there. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, I met the deadline. So
yeah. Right there.
If you get into trouble at all, tell us, because Lisa and I have been borrowing some too. So we can find you regalia if we need to.
Okie dokie. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Maitreya.
See you later. Bye.
I feel silly because I just don't know. So like, I never watch what the marshals do when I'm in the ceremony. So when the things are happening, are they just like, so are we like standing on the sides while the speeches are going and that sort of thing? Okay.
Yeah.
But that's kind of fun too, because then you can walk around. How you doing? What was your major? You know, where you going after this? You know, that's a fun time.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And
especially it gets like, if you're talking to all the English majors, Peter, for example, like like that, like getting them to cheer for each other, or, you know, why couldn't we get them to all do the wave? We were talking this morning, you know, look really cool in those spread out rows. Like, I don't know, we could find a way to make it, you know, not so quiet in that stadium.
And
That
I
sounds
told
sweet.
my chemistry majors that 2 years ago's chemistry majors got their picture taken constantly because they blew bubbles, and that, you know, they should consider doing this, or maybe something cooler because they're chemistry majors and they should be able to figure that out. So we'll see what happens.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So the only other thing that I was wondering about, and this seems silly, baby, but I'm like a red counter. So when I'm in, am I going to be on the east side as a
Mhm.
red counter?
Yep, you're on the east side.
Okay. Oh, okay. It looked like the picture, like the red side was on the west side. So anyway, I
It
just,
did, you're right. It looks like when it's coming, well, okay, and the other thing that they've done is the red and the gold things on the ground will be on both sides.
oh, okay. That
Got it.
totally makes sense. Then. Okay, because I was like,
You were
I'm
totally
supposed to be on
right.
the bottom of the east ramp, but it seemed like I was on the west side doing the counting things. I was like, it's fine. I mean, I'll just walk over or
Oh,
whatever.
well,
but-
there's a lot
Gotcha.
of time between the counting and the ramp part.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No worries.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. In fact, I already blew it. We have to keep fixing is I thought we were going east to west. And so I had all the marshal rolls set that way. And so which didn't change too much except my up and down. So now I need to reverse that it's west up, east down. So
Okay. I wondered what I had in my head the other direction. And
That's
Probably
why.
the first version
when
of
you were
things
saying that, I was
had
like,
said it the other way.
yeah, I'm gonna have to we have to fix some things.
Well, it's the joy of Google Sheets, though. I mean, if you open it back up now, it is fixed because I did that last hour.
I did the master sheet. I fixed all of it. It's pretty cool, Peter, when you see it like this. Check this out.
That scared me. When you said that to me, I was like, I can't even look at that right now.
Just so many, you know,
It's a lot.
jobs and people and times, you know. But what I like is people could search by their last name, the people who are working more than one ceremony, and they could see, you know, at a glance what they're doing for the different ceremonies. So that's what I was hoping it might do. So
oh, that's cool.
yeah, because some nice people are. Laura Sparks is joining us on Saturday, so we got one more.
Yay!
Yeah, cool.
That's good. Saturday was a little thin.
I guess we could stop recording.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'll do that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
The Zoom